I think our failure, although we recently passed the Kids Online Safety Act, at least in the Senate, we still need to pass it in the House, but it is still wreaking havoc. I think if we can look at the level of mental health incidents amongst our kids across the country, across all economic, racial, geographic areas, a lot of this can be traced back to 2012 as these online platforms came on, and it's still an enormous challenge. The specific issue I want to raise is a tragedy that happened to one of our military families in Virginia, where the Discord platform, one of the many that are out there that don't have the same visibility, for example, of Facebook or YouTube or others, but this Discord platform is a nest of misinformation, disinformation, and particularly, a site that encourages young people to do self-harm. There was a Virginia family, their daughter was literally encouraged on some of these platforms on Discord to do self-harm and even attempted suicide. It was a tragedy. My staff has met with the family. We asked Discord to change a series of its procedures. We have received a response. What's written on the response looks like positive movement, but we have to trust but verify. We are going to continue to monitor whether the Discord leadership makes the changes they've committed to. But the fact that we still don't have a comprehensive approach is a great concern to me. We took at least a step forward with the Kids Online Safety Bill that passed with close to 90 votes in the Senate. I think maybe even a few more. That's a good first step, but this is a problem that's not going away. Not to go down a total different rabbit hole on this, but some of you may have seen the fact that France arrested the head of Telegram, another area where both drug sales, terrorist groups, others are both financed, exchange information, a real cesspool. But I hope that is, and we have to be concerned obviously about First Amendment, but the fact that some of these companies ignore any kind of governmental jurisdiction, France taking a shot across the bow, holding potentially a CEO liable. I'm not saying that ought to happen here in America, but I do say there's got to be some level of accountability. And I would come back again to the fact that I've got about 8 different bipartisan bills that go from Section 230 reform to data portability and interoperability to dark patterns. You won't have to hear the whole lecture here again. But this is an issue that is not going to go away. And we owe it to our kids. We owe it to security in our elections, where we'll be having some of the social media platforms in Wednesday before the Intelligence Committee, which, by the way, this will be the only open hearing this election cycle from any committee, House or Senate. And if anyone thinks that the Russians or Iranians or others have gone away, I would simply point to the recent Justice Department indictment of a RT and Russian entities working with a group, frankly, Canadians based in Tennessee, that were spreading this disinformation and misinformation about the elections. And we will talk about that and other issues of concern. We've got to make sure people are aware. We have enough divisions in America that Americans ought to be sorting out, and our elections ought to not have undue influence by foreign governments.